Hello and welcome to Brands Hatch for the opening programme in our 2015 series of Last Lap. We're here for the opening two races for the 2015 Pickup Truck Racing Championship. Michael Smith, defending champion. It's great to be able to say that. I noticed the first thing is you're not doing an Anthony Hawkins, you're not running with number one on the side of the truck.
No, I'm sticking with 93. The way I look at it is I want it as 93 and I'll stay as 93. It's my number, that's what I'll always be.
It was very emotive, that last meeting in a cold, wet day in November where you took the championship. As ever, the pickups went down to the wire last year, and I guess this year will as well. And it's a long road. How do you sort of look at things at this early stage?
Basically, I think last year's last year. Start afresh again this year. Hopefully, we'll have as good a year this year as we did last year.
And for people that haven't seen pickup truck racing before, obviously you race on road circuits like Brands Hatch. You race on that big oval at Rockingham, and you go out to Venray, and you were the oval champion last year as well. So you're champion of both disciplines, which I think is pretty much unheard of in any other form of motorsport in the UK.
Yeah, at one point I'd really forgot about the Oval Championship, if I'm honest. As it happened, we ended up winning both, so that was a double bonus, really.
2013 champion Anthony Hawkins back with us, and some new livery, new branding on the truck for this year.
Yeah, well, it's been something we've been working off over the winter months, and we're really pleased to have 3J Driveline on board with us, so that's really good. It's good for the pickup truck series as well. They're a company who do a lot of driveline stuff for automotive and also racing stuff as well, so we're developing a gearbox with them as well, which hopefully will be entered into the Pickup Truck Championship at some point, so yes, really happy to have them on board.
Things look pretty good though, because we caught up with you at the end of last year. You were fighting for that last spot in the top three of the overall championship, and you finished fourth last year. And the truck looked as if it was going well. So did you find anything wrong with it in the strip down?
Unfortunately, no. So yeah, you're always hoping you might find something, but no, it was just the usual stuff. You know, bearings, rose joints, everything like that. You go through, check everything, but no major issues at all, really.
So with Mark Willis, who was third in the championship last year, his first year back in the championship, and you come back again, so you must have enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, we always enjoy it. I mean, we're doing it a lot more for fun now. I mean, we're still taking it seriously, obviously, because we enjoy it so much. But we have some good weekends away, and if we have a result with the truck, then all the team's happy. I'm lucky. I've got some good guys that come racing with me, and we have some good weekends away.
What's new for over the winter? What have you done to the truck?
Obviously, the engine's gone back for a rebuild. We've updated the gearbox. Pretty much that's about it, really. You know, we finished off the end of last year quite well, quite competitive, so we're just carrying on where we left off.
I'm with David O'Regan, fifth in the championship last year. One of the drivers that was fighting for one of those podium positions at the last meeting, and you had her coming together in race one, which was really upsetting, and that put you on the back foot. But you're a racer, you've come back, ready for another season.
We're still hungry. Nothing will stop that hunger, like, so yeah, no, we had a bit of difficulty near the end of last year and stuff, but yeah, we're coming back fitter and stronger.
The car's looked after for you though, isn't it? The car's prepped for you.
Yeah, Michael looks after the truck for us and stuff like that. We've had no shakedown just yet, so hopefully qualifying goes well and every temperature and everything goes correctly. But yeah, no, we haven't been up to very much over the winter. Just a few bits and pieces, but sure, nothing to talk about.
Do you do track days or anything like that?
No, nothing at all. So let's hope qualifying goes correctly.
So how do you blow the cobwebs away?
Qualifying, and hopefully get a 5-minute window, a bit of practice or something.
Freddie Lee, last year's Pro 2 champion, moving up to Pro 1. You've had a little bit of time in the car with the Pro 1 engine. How different is it for you?
I loved it, yeah. It was. It's a lot easier to drive. Everything's a lot more smoother. The torque's there, so you can really grab hold of it and drive it a little bit smoother and easier, and the power's there when you need it. So it wasn't too different, but yeah, it just made my life a little bit easier, so I don't have to try and chase time. I can try and just go with the quick boys now, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. See what today brings.
After qualifying, Paul Jones first in session 2, second in session 1. That means you're top of the championship before we've got the racing underway, because there are points for qualifying.
Yeah, it's a bit worrying now. I'm top of the championship, and now I've got to prove my point now when I'm out there and on the first round, and then hopefully do it on the second round as well. So kind of like a little bit nervous, but I'm looking forward to it this year, and this is what we've come here this year to do. is to go for the championship, and you know, we've spent 3 years trying to get there, and as it goes through the year, you know, we're going to get more drivers coming into it, and there's loads of interest as well, so you know, it's really looking good through the year, so I need to get my points now before everyone starts taking them off of me.
Well, the grids for pickup truck racing partially reversed, so the top 6 from qualifying get reversed. Pole position goes to Paul Tompkins with Mark Willis, then it's Dave Longhurst and David O'Regan, Paul Jones and Freddie Lee on row 3, followed by Gavin Murray and Neil Tressler. Charlie Weaver and Anthony Hawkins are next with Michael Smith, newcomer Shane Brereton, another newcomer John Shorter in the lone 2-litre truck, the others 2.3 litres. John Shorter running in the Pro 2 category, which can be for newcomers. We're getting ready for lights out. Willis and Tompkins on the front row of the grid, and we are racing pickup trucks here at Brands Hatch. Paul Tompkins on the inside line with the identifiable by the green, in truck with Neil Tressler to the outside of Sussex racer Charlie Weaver coming up towards Druids for the first time. David O'Regan looking for the outside line, Neil Tressler going for the outside as well and making good progress in the 37 truck. Down through ground, look from Gavin Murray there. Michael Smith in 93 around the outside of Neil Tressler, who gets into the back end of Smith's car, and the defending champion is all over the place and off the circuit, not the way he wants to start this. Contact on Tressler's truck by Weaver. So Tressler made contact with one truck going out of Graham Hill Bend. And they say what goes around comes around. I'm not saying there was anything deliberate, because drivers don't go out to take other drivers out, but Neil Tressler was involved there with Michael Smith the first off, and then finds himself being turned around by Dave Weaver. And this is only lap 1. We're looking at Freddie Lee in 51 chasing Longan, Dave Longhurst, oval racing legend, being chased by son of oval racing legend Barry Lee. There's Freddie Lee in 51. Fred, of course, has raced on the ovals himself in mini stocks at Arena Essex, not too far away here from Brands Hatch, just across the Dartford crossing. There is Gavin Murray in 95, who goes a little bit wide. He didn't look too happy on that first lap. He wasn't involved at all in those skirmishes, but he'll get it together as we look at the battle for the lead. Truck number 12 gets it sideways. Paul Tompkins, well, he's going to lose momentum here, and David O'Regan senses that. O'Regan points the number 8 truck down the inside and goes through side by side for the lead. Tompkins will fight back. Great view as they cross the line. So it's David O'Regan through into the lead. Multi-race winner, as too is Paul Tompkins. But O'Regan leads, and up the hill in the number 8 truck. Paul Tompkins second, not losing sight of the race leader. There's the man 65, Mark Willis, who started second on the grid. He is down to third, being challenged by Dave Longhurst in 23. So Longhurst, and then Paul Jones in 82, who set the first and the qualifying session split into 2 sessions, one for race 1, one for race 2. He was second in the first one and first in the second race, and you get points because the grids are partially reversed. The incentive for the drivers is to go for that qualifying time, because you get championship points for it. And that's why we said Paul Jones was leading the championship in the pre-race interviews. Freddie Lee side by side with Dave Longhurst, who drops back. Paul Jones goes through. Longhurst down to 6th place. Freddie Lee being challenged by Paul Jones, who you just saw ride the curb there slightly in the 82 machine, but still out front it's the Irishman David O'Regan from Paul Tompkins, the Berkshire-based driver. A4 Metal Recycling Limited Berkshire body shop truck goes through. There's Freddie Lee still chasing with Paul Jones in 82 working hard along Cooper Straight into the left-hander at Surtees. Gavin Murray involved there in 95, just back of shot, but effectively 6 trucks all dicing for the lead. We've got a long way to go. Freddie Lee on the back end of Mark Willis's truck, car number 65. Problems for newcomer John Shorter in the lone 2-litre truck. Hopefully we'll see John a little bit later on in the meeting, but there's David O'Regan, the race leader. Paul Tompkins, well, apart from that sideways moment at Clark Curve where he lost the lead, he's still very much got the pace. And O'Regan, marvellous on-board shot. You saw how the truck went through Paddock Hill Bend. Now it just leans away. The truck almost goes off camber. It's such a difficult corner. John Shorter still having problems on the outside of Druids. But O'Regan under pressure here from Tompkins, who's regained his composure. Here we go with the race leader.
very mindful of track limits there. He's the race leader. Tompkins chasing him. Mark Willis in third, followed by Fred Lee. Then it's Paul Jones in 82. Dave Longhurst then up the inside. Great move by Freddie Lee, who fires the car up the inside of Mark Willis. They're still side by side. This is the view from the race leader, David O'Regan. Clear circuit, blue skies, great for spectators here at Brands Hatch. He leads. We're back here at Brands in November, when I can't promise the blue skies, but I can promise terrific racing action. And we've got a massive crowd here at Brands Hatch. Look at the spectators you can see in the background. We've got loads of cars parked up on South Bank enjoying the racing as Willis tries to dive up the inside. Paul Jones around the outside line. Side by side they go again. Terrific respect from these racers. And Jones, there's just enough room on the exit. He kept the momentum going. He's got the inside line, but Willis has got the sweep into Graham Hill and maintains the pace. Great driving from the pair of them. So Mark Willis still fourth, but it's O'Regan, Tompkins, Lee, Willis in fourth. Jones is fifth, Paul Jones followed by Dave Longhurst, and Freddie Lee dives up the inside of Paul Tompkins. Lee going through to take second place. Welcome back to Brands Hatch. David O'Regan leads. Fred Lee with a great move just before the break, going into second position. You saw John Shorter, who's made it round to the pits, and hopefully he'll get his problems sorted out. But through Paddock Hill Bend we go. Fred Lee second. David O'Regan, here he is, the blue and white car, the race leader, light blue and white. Second place, the Crowthorne Hotels back 51 of Fred Lee. It's Mark Willis in third place, then Paul Jones, Paul Tompkins, followed by Dave Longhurst in 23. So a 5-truck train for second position at the moment. The race leader, David O'Regan, has got a little bit of breathing space. He won't have to rest. He won't want to rest on his laurels, because the others will be all over him as soon as he makes a mistake, if indeed he does. But a driver of his calibre probably won't do that. There is Longhurst in the West Park Contractors car chasing hard. But this is the view from the race leader, David O'Regan, inch perfect thus far. Freddie Lee in second will be trying desperately to close in. Paul Jones is going to make a gambit for third. Looks to the outside line, switches maybe inside as they go through Paddock Hill Bend, but nothing doing, stays fourth place. Paul Tompkins has got Dave Longhurst all over his rear end as well. Up into Druids for the race leader. Mark Willis looking at the Simpson livery on the back of the truck. Willis has got some Simpson branding on his truck as well. Back down the order, there is Shane Brereton in the Tour Trucks Kelser back machine, having his debut in the championship, and chasing Neil Tressler, both of them involved in the skirmishes on lap 1. And I'm not going to apportion blame anywhere. I'll let you be the judges of that for yourself, and the stewards of course will sort it out in the very polite conversations that will no doubt take place after the racing. Tressler though in the orange and blue, great livery on that one. Brereton's ex-Nick Grindrod multi-race winning truck is there in 48. Tressler, no stranger to the podium in pickup truck racing himself. This is the view from Brereton. What a great view it is. Look at him working the wheel, changes up. That's the office for him, and his pickup truck debut running well. He'll be disappointed. He's been setting some very good lap times, but he'll be disappointed to have had that skirmish. So through go the race leaders. I'll tell you what, David O'Regan is being caught by Fred Lee at the moment. Fred is closing up. Mark Willis has still got his mirrors full of Paul Jones, who was on aggregate the quicker of all the drivers in the 2 qualifying sessions this morning. So through Graham Hill Bend again, this battle for 11th place between Neil Tressler and Shane Brereton, and Brereton's all over him, but Neil Tressler defending well at the moment in the 37. This is a very good advert for some clean pickup truck racing. Brereton's going to try and stick the Tour Trucks 48 down the inside, but Tressler keeping it clear. I've got to say actually, Neil, not too defensive. I think he's fairly confident about what he's doing at the moment. We go on board again with Shane Brereton down the straight, comes to the outside line. This is going to be about looking for a way through on the inside, what they call the cutback on the inside line, maybe going up towards Druid. So we're at Haywards, here he comes offline, and Brereton's challenging for 11th place and goes through. That was very well read. Again, very clean, fair racing between the two drivers. Back to the race lead. David O'Regan leads this one. Fred Lee in second. It's looking relatively settled at the moment. Through go Tompkins and Longhurst. Paul Jones, though, reckons he can get on the podium. The 72 machine, sorry, the 82 machine, the man from Caterham in Surrey, working hard to try and get on terms with Mark Willis in 65. Out of the hairpin, down towards Graham Hill Bend again. PR Jones is the company. And along the straight, that's John Shorter. So John Shorter did make it on track in Pro 2. Remember the lone entry in the 2 litre Pro 2 class, the reigning national autograss champion, one of many classes in autograss, but that is a truly national championship that John won down in Wales last year, and he's making the move up into pickups. He's hoping, I know, to defend the autograss championship this year if he could borrow a car of somebody. So if the autograssers are watching and someone would like to lend John a truck for that, he gets an automatic entry into that. But back with our pickups, and it's David O'Regan still there from Fred Lee, Mark Willis third, Paul Jones fourth, and all of a sudden the gap between the top 4 has closed up again. There was spacing between them a couple of laps ago, but it's ebbed and flowed. I've got to say that O'Regan still looks good out front. Fred Lee still second, Mark Willis third, Paul Jones fourth, Dave Longhurst a little bit lonely at the moment in 5th position ahead of Paul Tompkins and the white truck of Gavin Murray. We haven't seen too much of Gavin, but he's working his way towards this front group as well if he can do it. Best lap time of the race though. There's John Shorter again in 44 with Charlie Weaver. Charlie running at the moment in 9th position with 10th position Michael Smith, who's recovering, and Michael Smith has the fastest lap of the race. But here are the race leaders again coming up to Druids, and it's David O'Regan from Fred Lee. This is the view from the race leader again into Druids. Inch perfect out over to the left hand side of the track on the way out of Druids, down at Graham Hill Bend. Paul Jones in 82 still trying to hunt down Mark Willis. A little flash of white and green is Michael Smith. There is John Shorter in the Wild West beef jerky. Great bit of branding on the truck, and wonderful to see it out racing, and the Pro 2 man having a very good debut. He's going to take the class win if he can carry on that form. So Weaver now, Charlie Weaver, about to be attacked by 93 Michael Smith, the defending champion. He's going to have a look at the inside line, so a change here potentially for 9th place. Smith placing the truck up the inside. Paul Jones has got ahead now of Mark Willis, so Jones is through into 3rd. O'Regan, Lee, Jones, Willis, that's the top 4. And are we going to see Jones? Remember, on aggregate, the quickest man in qualifying from the Saturday qualifying session. Normally the pickup trucks qualify on the Saturday. They have 2 sessions, they have free practice as well, and then the 2 races in front of the fans on race day. But this is now all about Fred Lee in 51, who's challenging the race leader, and O'Regan goes wide. Fred Lee's going to have a look up the inside, but that wider line from O'Regan, he didn't get crossed up like Paul Tompkins did in the early stages of the race. And Lee, you can see, looking for momentum on the outside. He's got Jones all over him as well, and Lee's got to be careful here because he can try and go for the lead, but also he's got to be mindful of Paul Jones behind him in 3rd place. So here they come up to Druids again, and Lee's going to dive down the inside. Terrific move by Fred Lee, who dives down, but O'Regan's still got momentum in the A truck on the outside, and he'll try and hang on to that advantageous line going down into Graham Hill Bend, and he hangs on to the race lead. But that was a very good effort by Fred Lee, and without doubt, notice of intent from the youngster. So Fred Lee second, but piling the pressure on David O'Regan up to Surtees. Lee goes wide, but leaves the door open, and Paul Jones goes through. Jones is through. Lee goes wide, and Mark Willis doesn't need a second nod for that, and he dives through, and Lee has lost momentum. But what a fantastic dice for the race lead. Fred Lee had to go for it. Here's Paul Jones second. Willis is looking up the inside to go through for second as they go on to the last lap. There's Gavin Murray flashing through shot. Willis has got second, but it's David O'Regan. He's going to be pleased there's this squabbling behind him, because this is freeing him up a bit now. But Mark Willis in 65 is on the case and trying to chase down the Irishman. We've got Paul Jones in 3rd place. Fred Lee is still there in 4th, and I've seen pickup drivers win races from further back than 4th place on the last lap. So we could still see it all change. We've got Dave Longhurst 5th, Paul Tompkins in 6th, but we're focused on the race lead. And is it me, or is David O'Regan looking a little bit more ragged at the moment? through Clark Curve and out of Clearways into Clark Curve for the last time, onto the Brabham Straight. This the in-car view. David O'Regan is on the home straight, and surely he's going to hang on. Yes, he is. It's a checkered flag. The first race of the year goes to David O'Regan from Willis, Jones, Lee, Longhurst, Tompkins across the line, followed by Gavin Murray in 95, and then it was Anthony Hawkins, the ex-champion, from Michael Smith, the reigning champion. Incredible racing as ever from the pickups, who have completed 18 laps of the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit in just under 16 minutes. Here's the result. David O'Regan from Mark Willis and Paul Jones, Fred Lee in fourth from Dave Longhurst and Paul Tompkins, Gavin Murray, Anthony Hawkins in 8th from Michael Smith, and Charlie Weaver 10th, then Shane Brereton and Neil Tressler. Fastest lap of the race goes to Michael Smith on a recovery drive that saw him just get into the top 10.
David O'Regan, what a great way to start the season.
Epic. Yeah, it was the first few laps. Excuse me. It was the first few laps that made the key to that, really, and I just hope for some clean air and everything to hope all the temperatures will stay good. What a brilliant race.
Freddie was keeping pace with you, wasn't he, in those early part of the first half of the race?
Well, they don't call him Fast Freddie for nothing. Yeah, no, he was right on my tail. In fairness, very respectful driving and everything, and I could see the bit of dicing going on behind me. So, yeah, no, it was brilliant to watch in my mirror.
It was a good race to watch from out circuit. 4 trucks, any one of the 4 could have won, but it was you.
Yeah, I was just lucky where I was, and with the 3 fast boys that were behind me. So, yeah, no, it was a good race. I just had to hopefully stay in there and hope everything would stay correctly. And the truck did maintain, but it's just started to go off near the end, so that's where I was struggling the most.
So you've got a bit of work to do now before race 2.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of work still to do. We never stop.
Well done, David O'Regan. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mark, cracking race. You and Paul were working your way up to that, the lead Giro of David and Freddie. You did that, and then you snuck through for second.
Yeah, I think with these long races now, where they're 18 laps, it's a job to keep the truck pretty neutral all the way through the race, and I see David struggling a bit there at the end, but he was quick at the start. But then David's quick here anyway. This is his place. Freddie come through like a train, didn't he? He just got tangled up there a bit at the end. Paul was ever so quick as well. I suppose you could say I picked the pieces up a little bit there, but the truck was good all the way through. It was good. Now we'll have another go in the second race. Look, it's the first. It's a long way, isn't it? It's the first race. I'm over the moon with second. Over the moon.
So Paul Jones, a second podium for you, second career podium, and Brands is a great place to do that.
Yeah, it's a great place. I mean, we was hoping for our very first as we got the fastest, the lap time in the qualifying. But, Mr. Willis was fast. I thought I left him behind, but he come back, and what a race he gave me. And that's what pickups is all about. It's just such close racing. And me and Mr. Willis, well, man, he was great, and I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. And it was the best bit of racing I've ever done.
Paul Jones, we've just heard from, takes third place. Mark Willis second, and the winner of race 1, David O'Regan. More for you after the break.
John Shorter, brand new driver to pickup truck racing. Welcome to the Formula first of all. What's your background?
I'm from National Autograss Racing. It's all I've known for 20 years as a driver. All my life. My dad used to race before that, so I've grown up with National Autograss. I was a director at one point for 3 years, or nearly 3 years, and I've been involved with the British Autograss Series as well, so heavily involved with that sport, and it's a big step really to come to pickup truck racing. But I've followed pickup since they started in, I think it was 97, and really enjoyed watching them, seen a lot of it online, and been to a few meetings as well. And I thought, yeah, let's do it. And my wife Sally gave me a bit of a push really, and said, well, you've won it twice, and perhaps it's time to move on and do something new. A lot of the difference is going to be speed, I think, because obviously Autograss, whilst it's fast, you're only generally in a race gear, whereas this you're probably carrying a lot more speed, especially around Rockingham. I know they're reaching speeds of 130 plus miles an hour, so that's going to be something I'm going to have to build up to, I think, this season.
As well as being a new face to the pickup trucks, you've brought in some new branding to the championship as well.
Yeah, so Wild West Beef Jerky have come on board with me for 2015. So pleased to have them on board as well. Car looks great. Carried some sponsors across from the Autograss world as well. We've got Diamond Windows on there. We've got Reeking Services who've helped me a lot in the past. We've got Chase Car Care Centre, and obviously Paul X on, who perhaps was also another person who pushed me in towards pickup trucks. He's been my engine builder for a while now. Won both of my national championships in autographs with him as an engine builder, and so it just seemed sensible for me really to continue that relationship forward into pickup truck racing.
Shane Brereton, a brand new driver to pickup truck racing. Well, a lot of people will know your name from other forms of motorsport, and it's good to see you here. What made you move?
I support the Kelso team. I come and watched a few times with the big trucks, and then ended up getting a pickup. Just every time I come and watched it, looked fantastic, so I thought I'd like a part of that.
Seen you in the big SCA stock cars a few seasons ago, so you don't have to go through the rigmarole of getting your oval driver's licence for Rockingham, which we'll see you at. But you also race short ovals with hot rods, and their space frame race is a little bit like this. And that was your last formula?
Yes, I took part in last year's World Final. I really enjoyed the hot rods. This is just a refreshing change, really.
You've had a really positive response, I gather, to this truck being in your workshop.
Yeah, all my customers excited. Suddenly people sponsored me. They sort of saw the hot rod as banger racing, a stigma we couldn't seem to change. And this has been fantastic, the amount of help I've had.
Nick Grindrod, multi-champion, multi-race winner, and here helping out this weekend. Tell us a little bit about the backstory.
Yeah, we've sold the trucks over the winter, both trucks to Shane. So he's done looks like he's done a fantastic job painting them and making them all look pretty. We're not racing this year. My two boys, I've got two twin boys, so they can start racing in July. So
we're going to see the name Grindrod in pickups again in the future, maybe through your two sons or maybe yourself back at some point.
Speaking to somebody, we might pop out this year. But if the pickups are still around when my Jake and Ollie are 16, then yeah, we'll have a go.
Charlie, I don't think you set a time in the second quali. Is there a problem?
Yeah, we had a little problem with the throttle jammed on the first part of the qualifying, and then we had the brake seized on after that, so we had to take it back to the garage and fix it.
Hi Dave, pretty good pace in race one?
Yeah, very good. Made a few changes now, so hopefully we'll be a little bit quicker. We wasted a bit of time part way through that race.
And near the front, so not too much work to do.
No, that's right. Just got to keep it on the black stuff and keep going forward.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Paul, a bit further back than we thought. What's the problem?
I had a bit of trouble in the qualifying, but I'll get past these lot in this one. You watch me.
You happy? Do you like brands?
Not really, no. I'd rather be at Rockingham.
Hi Neil, can we grab a quick word? Are you all ready for race 2?
Yeah, we're all ready. See how we get on this time, Sorting. Hope it's a bit better than last race, Sorting, but we'll try our best, Sorting.
The truck looks mint from the outside, but just looking inside, you put a lot of attention to detail on the interior of your truck as well, by the look of it.
Yeah, we try to make it look nice and neat and tidy, Sorting, and with all the gauges we need to keep us safe, Sorting. So we just do our best, really.
Gavin Murray, all ready for the second race of the weekend. Any problems in race 1?
Yeah, we've been suffering with quite a few problems with the build up to the season. We've got a bit of a misfire at the moment, which is intermittent, so we get halfway through the race and the misfire then develops. We've tried a lot of things to cure it, so hopefully we've found what the issue is now, and we'll have a little bit better second race.
Okay, good luck for the race.
Thank you.
Gavin starts towards the back of the grid, which is headed up by Mark Willis, who qualified 6th for this session. David O'Regan, race 1 winner alongside Anthony Hawkins and Dave Longhurst on row 2. Alias Smith and Jones, Michael and Paul on row 3. Then Freddie Lee and Paul Tompkins, followed by Neil Tressler and Charlie Weaver. Gavin Murray with Shane Brereton on row 6. John Shorter next up. I should have mentioned Jeff Dixon, who was expecting to race this weekend and indeed qualified. He's in Pro 2 as well, but had an engine failure, so we haven't seen Jeff, sadly. He's loaded up and gone home ready to repair for a future round. But we are ready for race 2, and it's Mark Willis in 65 who gets away. Willis third in the championship standings after the combination of points from qualifying and race 1. Anthony Hawkins, who set the pace in qualifying for race 1 and started at the back after breaking a seal on one of the key components on the truck. We'll talk more about that if we get a chance. as the race goes on, but it's Willis leading, O'Regan second, a little bit sideways out of Druids. Anthony Hawkins is third, but for how long? Because Dave Longhurst is looking up the inside. There's Charlie Weaver in 20, and this time everybody in good order out of Graham Hill Bend, along through Cooper Straight, now up into McLaren, having successfully negotiated Surtees. Michael Smith in 93 on the inside line, goes past Paul Tompkins. Side by side they are. Here is Shane Brereton chasing Charlie Weaver in 20, but it's Dave Longhurst ahead of this group. Great sight these trucks make as they flash across the line. Long race, as you heard Mark Willis saying in the Race 1 interviews. This is Neil Tressler on board chasing John Shorter at the moment for 12th position. And a fight on for the lead. O'Regan back in front. Mark Willis second. Dave Longhurst is third, but Willis has got the advantage here of taking that faster line down into Graham Hill Bend. That might count as momentum up into Surtees. And this the view from Mark Willis in car. Has a look up the inside. Hasn't got the run that we thought he might have got. Goes over the grass to try and close down on David O'Regan, who remains out front. It's Dave Longhurst who is in third at the moment. In car again with Mark Willis, that cool driving style. You can see it's difficult going into the sun here. We're getting late into the day at Brands Hatch, and Willis has got his mirrors full of Dave Longhurst. Dave Longhurst fourth in the championship after qualies, and Race 1 scored 30 points in the qualifying session, plus the 180, and Longhurst coming offline, looking up the inside of Willis, side by side into Druids. These two won't take each other off. They've known each other a long time, a lot of mutual respect. They're still side by side, and Willis has got the advantage of the outside line exiting Druids. That converts to the inside, the racing line down into Graham Hill Bend, and then along Cooper Straight. So Willis hangs on to that significantly, not losing any ground at the moment over David O'Regan, and you get a great shot here of how the cars are thrown through Surtees and up towards McLaren. There's Fred Lee in 51. Anthony Hawkins has got a problem. The man who set the pace in the first qualifying session, the champion the year before last, has got a problem. He pulled out wide. Now will that get rectified? Across the line goes Michael Smith in the white and green 93, followed by the black and green number 12 car of Paul Tompkins. So it's still O'Regan leading. There is Michael Smith and Paul Tompkins on the outside, chased by Fred Lee. Now remember, the front runners from Race 1 pick up ballast for their troubles. So Success Ballast goes on the trucks. 30 kilos for a win, as we look at Shane Brereton in 48. Back in car with Mark Willis, and I'll get to talk about regulations and things in a moment. But look at this terrific shot. We were in truck with the dark blue truck that's chasing in second position, and up the inside now. This is, and a tap on the back end. Michael Smith was looking at the inside of Paul Tompkins, caught the rear of the 12 truck, and around goes Tompkins. He won't be very happy about that. It did not look deliberate by any stretch of the imagination, but the lightest of touch can send a truck round, and that puts Tompkins to the very back of the field. He's having all sorts of problems getting back on. He's got the grass on those slick tyres, which is not helping his cause. So, well, that's going to knock both Michael Smith, the defending champion, who's had an absolute mare of a round here. So it's him and Tompkins down the order. The one thing you need to be in pickup racing is consistent. Sure, you've got to be fast as well, but consistent results. 200 points for a win. Each place drops by 5, as we explained in Race 1. But if you don't finish, it's 0 points. No points at all for a non-finish, and that is such a hard thing to do. I remember Steve Dance. As going wide there, Dave Longhurst collects it all back, and Paul Jones goes through on the inside. So Jonesy through into third place. It's David O'Regan from Mark Willis. Paul Jones up into third. Longhurst got it crossed up, but he's all gathered all back in to fourth position. I was about to tell you about Steve Dance when he was champion years ago, having the opening round, I seem to remember, was Alton Park. And if memory serves correctly, had an engine go and missed the first 2 races, and that really started off his championship defence on the back foot. And we're seeing similar things here from Michael Smith, although Michael is still on track as we watch the battle for the lead. Willis chasing the Irishman. O'Regan's already got 1 win under his belt. There is the number 12, Paul Tompkins, on a little bit of a mission now, but look how much ground he dropped, because here is the lone Pro 2 runner. John Shorter runs very wide indeed. He'll keep it going. He knows how to race on loose stuff, being a national autograss champion. Very wisely allows the field to come through. He's getting used to his truck in race spec this weekend. Here we are with David O'Regan, though, the race leader, looking for a double this weekend. What a way to open the season it would be for David. They're coming up on Paul Tompkins in truck number 12. He's a lot further back than I thought he might have been. O'Regan goes to the inside. Willis goes through to the inside as well, safely past Tompkins into Druids. Welcome back to Last Lap, the first programme in our series for 2015. In car with Shane Brereton, trying to get past Paul Tompkins, who's found himself a lap down after being tagged on the rear end by Michael Smith, the defending champion. But it's David O'Regan from Mark Willis, Paul Jones third, then Dave Longhurst, and here comes Fred Lee, maybe his favourite passing point on the track. And Lee was looking down inside, couldn't go through, and there's contact there between Paul Tompkins and Michael Smith. Now, was that retaliatory? It could well have been. Maybe that's why Tompkins was a lap down. He was waiting for them to come past. Well, that one's going to have to be sorted out in the Clerk of the Courses office. But we go back. Fred Lee chasing Dave Longhurst. Longhurst runs wide. Lee's going to have a look up the inside. Through go the top three. And Lee goes through. Fred Lee, in his maiden meeting in the 2.3 litre class, is up into fourth place. He was challenging for the lead in race one. He's having a terrific day on his move up into the 2.3 litre class. There is Gavin Murray, who looks a little bit happier in this one. Murray started on the penultimate row of the grid. We go in car with him. Turns into Surtees through McLaren. Was there a bit of steam or smoke on the inside of the truck? O'Regan still there. Paul Jones closing down on Mark Willis. Jones looking for the inside line at Paddock. I thought he was too far back. He looks at putting the nose down there. He can't quite go through. We go in on board with Willis. Coming up the hill, he doesn't want to leave the door open. In fact, goes past O'Regan. Great move by Mark Willis. Into the lead, the 65 trucks through, and now Paul Jones is going to try and follow through as well. But Jones can't quite do it. O'Regan latches himself onto the rear end of Willis's truck, and in turn, Paul Jones is on the back end of the Irishman's truck in third position. We're in truck now with the second place machine. It's Mark Willis out front. David O'Regan down to second. Paul Jones, Fred Lee is closing in as well. It's going to be a four-way scrap for the lead very shortly. We've got trucks ahead, so we're going to have some back marker issues coming up very soon. On board once again with David O'Regan past John Shorter, who's learning the truck again and on his way. Wasn't classified in race one. Remember, he came into the pits for diagnostics, so didn't complete the 80% race distance, but he did get some experience, and he's doing that here, so he could well be on for class points here as Willis goes through the lead, and he's building that lead now as David O'Regan gets defensive from Paul Jones. Jonesy in turn has got Fred Lee right behind him. Then it's Dave Longhurst in red and yellow, followed by Anthony Hawkins back with the number 98 on the truck, and then Shane Brereton. Well, I shouldn't sound surprised. He's an accomplished racer, but he's really taking to pickup truck racing like the proverbial duck to water. And he's got the fastest lap of the race too, Shane Brereton, a 52.272, and looks up the inside of the ex-champion. Shane Brereton goes through and makes up a position. What a great drive by Brereton. This is his first ever meeting in pickups. They're a different kettle of fish to what he's used to. He has raced national hot rod space frame races with a similar setup, but circuit racing's a completely different thing altogether. Back in truck with Anthony Hawkins, the Midlander, the former champion, chasing hard. And now Anthony, I'm sure he's made Shane very welcome to the paddock, but it's more competition and more very good competition for him to have to race with. So we look at the champion of 2 years ago chasing a newcomer into pickup truck racing. And I'll tell you what, the Kelsa Tour Trucks machine, if he can do that on his debut, what's he going to do later on in the year? Freddie Lee's having a look, just going out of shot for third position. There is Shane Brereton still in the 48, now closing up on Dave Longhurst in 23. So he's having a good go, but here's the race leader. Mark Willis goes through. David O'Regan is being passed now, so David O'Regan, from being on the front rank, remember he's got extra ballast on board. 30 kilos for first position, 20 for second, 10 for third, up to a maximum that can be carried of 70 kg. So they have to adjust their driving style and the setup of the truck to cope with the extra ballast. And clearly that's punishing O'Regan. That's what the organisers want. They want to see different race winners. The fans want to as well, and I guess the drivers do too. But it's Mark Willis out front at the moment as we look at David O'Regan down to fourth, up onto a potential podium is Fred Lee. We go back to Charlie Weaver and Neil Tressler, 10th and 11th respectively. John Shorter is behind them as well. So we'll see whether Neil can make progress here and close in on Charlie Weaver. Neil comes from Bolkington in Warwickshire in the L&N Graphics Design Wizard Embroidery NBTC Limited back truck, and he's running well, crewed by his wife Margaret, his two daughters Larissa and Natasha. But back to the front, and Paul Jones is challenging Mark Willis and getting wheels on the curb to try and claw his way up into lead position. Willis is under big pressure. Look at Fred Lee, he's there in third place as well in the white 51, but at the moment it's between two drivers synonymous with short oval racing in days gone by. Mark Willis is racing all sorts of things: stock rods, 2 litre hot rods, mini stocks, national hot rods. Paul Jones very much a 2 litre hot rod man. Look at this very close racing as Shane Brereton dives up the inside of Dave Longhurst, but makes contact and spins around. He's going to rejoin. Brereton's got the fastest lap of the race. He's certainly not used to the truck, so I don't think Dave Longhurst to be upset. Dave's a great character. As through challenging for the lead, Paul Jones, he's got his nose in front, in car with Mark Willis, gets a little bit sideways, he's giving room to Paul Jones, but has Jones done enough to come up the inside as he go into Druids? Willis is hanging on the outside line. You will only see this in pickup truck racing. They're still side by side. Willis knows that the outside line is what he needs to hang on to the lead, and he does it. And now look at Paul Jones having to get defensive from Fred Lee. Jones has got the wider line, in car once again with David O'Regan. Fred Lee to the left, side by side coming up into Surtees. We can see Jones and Willis are there as well. Four-way scrap for the lead. This is why you have to come and watch pickup truck racing. Check out the website for when the dates are on. Come and see us on the circuits. Come and see us on the 1.5 mile oval NASCAR style at Rockingham in just outside Corby in Northamptonshire, as Paul Jones is doing the move again and dives down the inside, and this time it's a much more positive move and Paul Jones is through into the lead. Paul Jones, for my money thus far, the man of the meeting. He was fastest in qualifying on aggregate. Anthony Hawkins was fastest for race 1, but it was Jones that was second. He took the fastest time in the second one, and now he's fought through from row 3 of the grid into the lead. He's never won in pickups before. He's taken many wins on the short ovals over the year. Oh, and Fred Lee's got a problem, and off and glances the barrier. The photographer's rightly doing a very quick disappearing act up the bank. That was hard lines for Fred Lee. Hopefully he'll keep going. We are going to see a win for Fred Lee this year for sure. But we're in truck with Mark Willis. There, though, is Paul Jones, who, as I said, goes on to the last lap. He's won many times on the short oval. He's never had a circuit win. And where else? What a great place to be able to do it. Brands Hatch is a real driver's circuit. We're on truck with Mark Willis, who looks like he could go away with the championship lead. Willis third in the table after the first race of the day. That will be Jones leading the championship, won't it? I'm forgetting the mass because Jones was championship leader after quali, after race 1 as well, and he's leading race 2. Neil Tressler and Charlie Weaver, what a great race they've had, still battling it out over 10th position. But back to the front, and Mark Willis isn't finished yet. The 65 truck closing in on Paul Jones. This is going to be about the run to the line. Out of Clearways into Clark Curve onto the Bradham Straight. Surely the onboard says that Mark Willis is too far back. Yes, he is, because it's our first ever win for Paul Jones in pickup truck racing. Jones the winner, Mark Willis in second from Anthony Hawkins, a podium for the former champion. Michael Smith fought back for 4, then Gavin Murray, Dave Longhurst, Fred Lee recovers for 7th, Shane Brereton 8th and fastest lap ahead of David O'Regan, Charlie Weaver in 10th ahead of Neil Tressler, and a first finish for John Shorter in the Pro 2 category. Fastest lap, Shane
Brereton. So Paul, we interviewed you after qualifying, and it was first and second in the qualifying, and we knew you had the pace, and now you've just proved that you got the racecraft as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've proved to ourselves that we can get out the front now, and Mark gave us a real hard time on that race, and it's fantastic racing with him, and I didn't think I was going to get through, and everywhere I went he put his truck, and I looked in the mirrors and Mark was a few trucks behind, and thanks to Mark I'm here.
So Mark Willis, another piece of silver, another appearance on the podium.
Yeah, it's a good start. 2
Yeah.
seconds, I think. You know, you always turn up at the first meeting and you're a bit dubious about what the lads have done over the winter and how much developing they've done and whether you're going to be on the pace. So to have 2 seconds on the first meeting is good, you know. But I couldn't have lost to a nicer bloke. Paul's been doing it for some years now, and towards the end of last year he was very quick. And he's proved it today. He's come out of the blocks running and he was quick today. I couldn't hold on to him.
Fantastic racing. It sets up what's going to be a fascinating season.
Yeah, I mean, with the Oval Series as well. And we've got some fantastic dates this year. And it's definitely going to be a series to watch.
So, Anthony, last year's champion, you had some problems earlier on today, but very clearly those are behind you because you're on the podium.
Yeah, I think testing weekend really from technical issues and stuff like that. But team have worked really hard, and all the guys at 3J Racing have worked really hard to get the truck ready for this last round. So we'll take the third. We're very happy with that. So great result.
And good to see Paul getting a win as well. First win, great for the sport.
Absolutely, that's what pickup trucks is all about. You know, it's don't want the same winners winning everything all the time, and couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And that's the beauty of pickup trucks. You know, everybody's really pleased for everybody doing well.
So Paul Jones, his first win, and he leads the championship, coming away from Brands Hatch. Mark Willis second from Anthony Hawkins and David O'Regan fourth. Then Dave Longhurst. Fred Lee is in sixth ahead of Michael Smith. Gavin Murray eighth from Shane Brereton and Charlie Weaver in 10th. Next is Neil Tresler from Paul Tompkins. John Shorter, 13th. Jeff Dixon yet to get off the mark.
Well, 2 great races from the Pickup Truck Racing Championship to open the 2015 season. We'll be following the pickups later in the year, including a visit to the 1.5 mile Super Speedway Oval at Rockingham. Well, that's it for today. Many thanks for watching Last Lap, and we'll see you next time.